Good morning, clergy and laity of the Virginia Annual Conference. This video is about a resource we want to provide to you. We've gotten lots of requests from all over the annual conference for resources on fair elections and how do we navigate our congregations during a really acrimonious, I would think is probably the best word, political season. We are, as United Methodists, all over the map politically. We have a lot of purple churches, for lack of a better term. And so we're going to not reinvent the wheel, but we're going to curate resources that we find helpful, that the conference staff and the cabinet and I find helpful for you to have in one place. So we're going to put them on a web page on our website and invite you to educate yourself and to figure out how do we navigate what's going to be probably a difficult season in a lot of our churches. I would say that as you approach, well, first of all, I'll say vote, right? That is such a huge privilege. I still remember as a kid, either one of my parents, every election would take me into the big, I kind of miss those big metal voting booths, I'm dating myself, where you'd click a button and the curtain would shut and then they would register their votes. But that had a huge impact on me as a child, and as I grew to be a student of history and all sorts of world politics, I realized that the gift of voting is huge. So I hope all of you have a voting plan and know when you're going to vote, where you're going to vote, make sure you're registered. It's really important. The other thing I would say is get out of your echo chambers, right? All of us tend to have our own preferences when it comes to politics, but if you're reading and listening and watching only stuff that agrees with you, you're not getting a fair picture of the world. So I would challenge you to spend some time where you probably never have before, right? And to really try to have a balanced view and to know the biases of the media you watch. There are all sorts of publications out there, and you can see right where a lot of times we aren't even aware of how our viewpoints are shaped by one viewpoint. So I invite you to listen, view widely, and to fact check. You know, do not share anything on Facebook that you have not checked. Do not share anything on X or any of the other social media feeds if you don't know it's accurate. Because if you don't know it's accurate, you're participating in the problem. For example, the latest news today is that Haitian immigrants are eating cats. I've fact-checked that. That is totally untrue. And it's an insult to our Haitian brothers and sisters. I have many Haitian friends in Florida, and that is not a fair depiction of them. And as you vote, I also hope that you will take the heart of our faith and your biblical understanding into the voting booth with you. One thing that always drives me crazy is the question, is it better for you now than it was 4 years ago? And Christians always think communally. So the question for me isn't, am I better off, is how is everybody doing? And I think a lot of that is, I don't remember who said it, but the mark of a good culture is who takes best care of its elderly and its children and those who have no voice. So I think it's a bigger question than just me. But how is the way that politics unfold? Does it satisfy God's preference for the poor, God's demand for justice and fairness, God's demand in the Old Testament that we welcome aliens and strangers? So there's a whole lot to think about. And I challenge you as United Methodists, we value and pride ourselves on thinking and really analyzing things and seeing that there's a lot of nuance to issues. The first thing that I'm going to ask to be posted on our website is a speech by Andy Stanley, a pastor in Georgia, who spoke to the Georgia legislature. And his plea was that we move from the extremes to the middle. And the United Methodist Church has always been a church of the middle, and we want to have churches where you are free to discuss, but to bear with one another in love, to teach each other, to learn from each other, and to do it in a civil and respectful manner. And so I invite you to watch Andy Stanley's speech to the legislature in Georgia, and then to check back every week. We'll continue to add to this website as we curate great resources for you as we move toward Election Day in November. So I thank you for being good citizens. I thank you for being good United Methodists, and I thank you for approaching elections prayerfully and in an informed manner.